Welcome, guys, to Kel's and Betzy podcast, where we are focused on raising private capital and investing with purpose. So, whether you are a new or experienced real estate investor, or even looking to buy a business, understanding the art of raising private capital is crucial in today's competitive landscape. Join us as we navigate the complex realm of raising capital, securing funding, and building meaningful relationships that fuel your business growth.
Hello, everyone.
Wait, did that play? I'm like, oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, guys. So something went out with mine, but welcome, guys, to our channel. I am your host, Kalisha, and I have my co-host, Betzy. And today we have some good friend of ours who are freaking crushing it in the California market. A lot of person will be like, California, no way. I'm staying away from that. Too expensive. But before we dive in and introduce our guests, guys, Betzy, you want to hit them with that disclaimer?
So the following information is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence. We do not provide financial, legal, or professional advice. Everything that we say or do comes from our own experience, and every case is different. So if you have a case that's going on, don't say, hey, Kalisha and Betzy told me this. Say, hey, I need advice.
That's it, guys. So, guys, today we have the privilege of sitting down with two exceptional individuals who have made their mark specializing in fix and flip projects right in the heart of California. Not only have they mastered the art of transforming properties, but they've also mastered the art of leveraging other people's money to turn their visions into reality. So in this episode, we're going to uncover the secrets that they use to build their success, learn how they're navigating in the evolving California market, and gain some valuable insights into the strategies they employ to attract private investors. So without further ado, let's welcome Jose and Jasmine to our show.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for being here, you guys. Thanks for being part of our episode today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We're like representing different time zones. I'm in California, Betsy's in Georgia, and you guys, no, I'm not in California, I'm in Florida. And then you guys are in Florida. It's like what, like 10 something right now? How's it over there?
Yeah, 10,
40. Yep.
Man, and we almost did this at 7 a.m. That we were
Oh, that was fun.
Are you guys early birds?
Yes, I am.
Somewhat.
Jasmine is like somewhat. No, I'm not.
Somewhat. You having a little nightlife?
This is a lucky party. You got to work hard and play hard. But I mean, right. I know we both know you guys' story. It's the first time here on our show. For those who don't know who's Jasmine and Jose are, just tell us a little bit about you guys and how you got into real estate investing.
Yeah, so I got into real estate investing. I'll start. I mean, in real estate, jumped in 2020. I left corporate America a week before the shutdown of you know what. And when that shutdown happened, I freaked out because, I thought that was the end of the economy. I thought it was the worst decision of my life. Like, this is crazy. I left, a high-paying job. But it ended up turning to be a really good market in real estate. Fast forward, I was focusing on just being a real estate agent for the first year. And Jasmine and I rekindled our friendship. We came from San Francisco. We worked at Chipotle together. And, we parted ways. Jasmine, she'll tell her story, but she, went her separate way. I went mine. She was looking to buy her rental, and she was like, "Hey, saw you're a real estate agent. Would you help us?" And that's how we kind of rekindled. And as I was helping her finding her rental, I was telling her what I was doing. I was like, "Hey, I want to flip homes. I'm going to start flipping. This is the direction I was going to go into. I just got my license just to leverage the license, not really to be a realtor for full time, but really go into flipping homes. And I was just telling my whole story, what I was doing, and then we joined forces right after that.
Man,
Yeah.
but Jazz, how did I'm gonna let Jazz you tell your story first because I have one question for Jazz.
Share my story of the mirror side of it. Yeah, so basically what he said. So when I rekindled our friendship, when I asked him to be my realtor, yeah, I was really inspired, and it was really enticing to hear what he was doing. Partly because we came from the same background, right? Retail. I was in the restaurant industry. He knew what I was going through because obviously he was my boss when I was in college. So when I became the boss, he knew exactly what I was going through. And I just felt like, I had more value. I wanted to do what he was doing. And I just kind of took the risk and I quit my job. I worked at Chipotle for 8 years. I was a GM. After buying the rental, I just didn't enjoy it anymore. I was just kind of like, this is way more interesting than whatever I was doing at the restaurant. Seems more valuable. So then I went off and we started the LLC together right after I quit. No deals in the pipeline, just some inspiration and determination. And now we're currently trying to work on our 4th flip together. And it's been an amazing journey.
I mean, I want to put this out there. You guys should be super, super proud of yourself because all of this happened in less than a year. And when you look back, when I met Jazz first in person for the first time, this was in Long Beach in November. Was it November or October? That time, guys, that's November of 2022. Jazz didn't have her license, her real estate license. Literally, she didn't have it. She was like brand new, like fresh out the gate. And then right after that, she's like, damn, I passed my real estate exam. I'm now licensed. And then I think maybe a few weeks after, she and Jose had a deal on the contract. And you guys have been doing deals back to back to back. So shout out to you guys. You should be super proud of yourself for doing that in freaking California, where the prices are like high, like your purchase price is about 500,000, and you guys didn't let that scare you. So, which makes me go into my next question for both of you, like why fix and flip? I mean, everyone says there's good money there, but why fix and flip? Because the market is so tricky too.
So I think fix and flip, I wanted to do that for the longest time, even when I was working with Jasmine, back in 2014, right? Yeah. I always wanted to do it, right? I just never pulled the trigger up until now, right? Now, I know California is expensive, and a lot of people outside of California say it's expensive, right? Maybe for us, we're like, oh, we were just talking to Betzy offline, and we're saying, oh, yeah, 200K raising is easy. And for some people, that's a lot of money because you may not need that in certain markets, right? But for us, I think, this is our state. We grew up here, we live here, so we're kind of used to it. So for us, it's just a normal thing. Maybe people outside of state, that might be a big risk because those are huge numbers. For us, that's not huge at all, right? I guess we're just used to it. It's our market. What can we do, right? I mean, there's pros and cons in any market you go into, whether you want to do remote flipping out of California or you stay within California. There's pros and cons either way.
So then how do you, guys, even determine, because the fact that you're leveraging other people's money, and we're going to get into that, but keeping into consideration you're using other people's money, what factors do you consider to decide what properties to fix, what properties to turn away from?
So I think it's really going to come down to what the exit is really going to look like, right? There's certain properties, especially here. I mean, I'm sure it's like everywhere else, right? We want to see what the value is going to really be once we're done with it. I think the benefit Jasmine and I have is we're licensed real estate agents. So we kind of know the perspective of the buyers, what the buyers are looking for in that current market, what it will take, what the market calls for, right? There's certain things that we didn't do in our last flip because we know we didn't have to do it, right? Because the market calls for different things. Now, this other project that we just bought, we probably have to go a little bit in the higher end because it's a different market, right? So I think for us, we benefit of being licensed because we have the data. We're pretty ingrained into what people are looking for, which helps us make our decisions too, in terms of what projects to buy and what not to buy.
Jazz, this is a little side note for, but how did you feel when you closed on your first deal to be zero out of pocket?
Oh, I mean, it was the most amazing feeling, especially because I told you I kind of went into this head first. I definitely, Jose was like, "You don't think you can go into a room and raise all this money?" I'm like, "No." What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know anything about real estate. I know I have like good connections with people. I'm a people person. I think he believed in me before I believed in myself a little bit. But after we closed on it, obviously the confidence, skyrocketed. I felt like, I was worthy of what I was doing. I was valuable to the team, realizing, all my assets that I bring and stuff like that. So definitely a confidence booster because, before that, a year ago, to this day, I couldn't tell you, I would never expect me to be here like right now.
Honestly, like what I think a lot of people don't see too much is like the behind the scenes, right? So like we started our company together January of last year, right? We didn't do our first flip together until later in the year of that year, right? But what we were doing is we were building systems and processes, our database, what we kept talking about. I mean, we were having like tough conversations, long conversations, and until we figure out our roles, what was our strengths, what was our weaknesses on each other, then we figured out, okay, you're gonna sit on this seat and I'm gonna sit on this seat. And I feel like because of that decision that we both made is where we're at now, is put us in a position where we're at now that we can do multiple deals at once, right? Because we're not in the same seat. We're leveraging each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Definitely.
That was so good. That was like, I love that you brought that up because, as you said, not a lot of persons really talk about it. It sucks. They show the pretty side of things, but doesn't show the nitty gritty of things that they're doing. Yeah. Can you walk us through? Because I think, Jazz, you mentioned that Jose had asked you, like, how do you feel about raising the money? Walk us through the first deal that you guys raised private capital for. Like, what was the amount? Was there any hiccups? How did you overcome that aspect of things?
So we bought our first property in Torrance. We bought it for $810,000. We had to raise, I believe it was 330 with rehab, closing costs, 20% down, all that, gap funding. We definitely went through hiccups for sure. We had 3 private money lenders on it, and one of them actually fell through 2 weeks before we were going to start the project. And obviously freaking out, was like, where am I going to get $75,000? I barely am starting this. No one's going to believe anything I'm doing. But, with networking and talking and passionately talking about what you love to do and what you're doing, I think that's kind of why I attracted the replacement private money lender. I kind of took a risk and I said, hey, I've been telling you what I'm doing. I would really hope if you, could listen to this opportunity that I have. And he took a chance on me and us. And so I'll forever be grateful. But like I said, I didn't know, he was even a prospect until I just, was talking to him and making sure, you're always constantly networking because you never know where the money is going to come from. So we were able to raise the $75,000 that we needed that fell through to continue the project. And I think that was definitely a confidence booster in itself, realizing, hey, I thought the impossible now is possible. So that was a great experience. And then, it took, longer than expected, but I think we learned a lot through that process for sure.
What I'm so curious about, because Betzy and I, we've experienced this before, where lenders back up, and what a lot of persons don't understand is that's normal. Kind of go back a little bit, like what was going through your mind? How much timeline did you guys have before closing when that lender backed out? And what was that little switch in your brain to be like, listen, we don't got much time, suck it up. This is what we have to do. What was the game plan there?
Oh, so basically, well, in the beginning, we were kind of, to be completely honest, when I was at the lowest of the low, we were scrapping funds together from ourselves. Obviously didn't plan on having somebody back out. But once the mindset turned, I was like, hey, we're literally going to be out of this first deal that we're right here. We're so close. And I exhausted, we took time away, try to like open our minds, think outside the box, think about different people we could talk to. And like I said, I think it was just ultimately taking a chance and, asking, right? Like providing opportunities, making sure you were talking about it constantly. Because like I said, I didn't know it was going to be him. I think it worked out in the end just to talk about it for sure. Constantly.
No, I always like, because honestly, everyone persons as investors will talk about lenders backing out, but I think everyone experienced that little hiccup so many different ways. Some persons like would sob and they will push and push, and then they find a lender. Some persons don't, but I always like to hear, what are you really doing? Like, what was that process like, to go into details about it? So for that deal, you use a hard money. So to be clear, you guys use hard money, and then you use private money. There are different aspects of that deal, because a lot of hard money lenders don't allow a second lien position. How was that conversation to your three lenders?
So I think what is helping us now is, one, building trust with people, right? I think what Jazz and I do is we mostly talk about the vision and what we're going, and then we tie into them. What do they want? Like what's their goals in life, right? Once we understand that, we try to figure out, okay, how can we put two to two together, right? So a lot of times I think some people might want to just talk about the deal, and we don't want to come off very transaction. We want to be personable. We want to understand what their goals are, because at the end of the day, they have goals too, whether they want to retire early, whether they have old 401ks and they just don't know what to do, and we're just being that solution, right? So ultimately, we're just finding the solution and putting it together. But I think the other thing too is being very confident in building the brand for yourself and for the company, which comes down to the credibility pieces, right? So our mentor, right, teaches us about credibility, right? But the credibility packet, if you will, is not the only thing. It's really building your brand. How do you hold yourself? How do we, put it out there into social media, right? As you can see, Jasmine and I, we put a lot of walkthrough videos, right, of our current project. We do that because guess what? Whoever we end up talking to, whether it's today or next year, what are they going to do right after they talk to us? They're going to search our name.
Yeah.
They're going to find our social media, and they're going to figure out, like, are these people real or not? What have they done in the past, right? Yeah. But I think like that's what's made it very important, right? Other than that, I think that people have that trust where they start believing in you, and really they're just going to go for it.
Mm-hmm. Man. You guys. No, we've said it all like so many times. Post on social media. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to even have done your first deal. But for persons to see the journey, persons care about the journey. They don't care about the success. It's what did you go through, and just for you to show that is like amazing. And you brought up a valid point. When someone Googles your name, they can see stuff that you've done a year ago.
Correct.
Just because you posted it. Some for some persons, that's like, yeah, I don't want to see your 2 years of experience because they'd be like, you're brand new. How long have you been doing this? And then start asking you about that project. Now you have 3 private money lenders on that deal. I know we can get mad creative with structuring those 3 private money lenders. Did you guys do a second lien position, like different, like second, third, fourth? Did you put all the lenders under one entity? If you did second, third, fourth, how was that conversation for the lender who's going to be third or fourth position? If you guys can disclose that.
So for Torrance and our San Bernardino project, we didn't put any liens. Our private money lenders literally trusted us 1000%. And yeah, we did not put any lien positions. And, you know, we have it in our marketing materials. We have in all our materials. We do get questioned on it, but we always get, you know what? I want to ride the wave with you. I believe what you're doing. And when do you need the money by?
Wow.
And Jasmine and I were like, sometimes we laugh and we're like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. It's not laughing.
Crazy.
It's crazy, but then it's like, going back to what I said earlier, just because we didn't have a deal in that whole time, the first half of the year of last year, we took the time to make sure we have systems in place. We were networking with people. We were learning all these other things. We were basically training ourselves, teaching ourselves. That's what entrepreneurship is, right? Yeah. We have to figure out our own college, our own university of how to get where we want to go with, right? But I think all of that, people see that. Like if you go on LinkedIn, you'll see it on Jasmine things. She works for Fire Capital Investments. Like all those little things is where people are going to start putting things together and realize, okay, they're the real deal, right? They can look up our license. You can't lie about getting a license, you know? We have all these credible things that people lined up for. But ultimately, I think it's really because we don't talk to them like a regular transaction. Like Jasmine's pretty good at really, hey, what's your goal? Who are you as a person? Right? Because we don't want to just take any kind of money, right? It has to make sense, right? But once we know that, I think that's where people start like, hey, I just want to trust you as if someone might want to trust a, stock market. Hopefully Target stocks never goes down and look what happened. You know what I mean? Like, so it's the same thing kind of, but yeah, kind of crazy. We have never put anyone on second lien and nor have they requested.
So how do you structure their how they send you the money?
Yeah. So I think now we're doing it very differently. We are going through the escrow way. Before we weren't doing it. I think we were still trying to figure things out. But I think as we, fine tuning our processes, now it's more like, hey, your money goes to an escrow account. And actually, we had a meeting the other day. And the moment we said that, they like their eyes open. Oh, my money's going to an escrow account? We're like, yeah. They're like, oh, and do I get paid by the escrow? And they're like, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, that sounds good. Then we realize, oh crap, like that's the real deal right there. Like now that gives them even more confidence that we're not going to run away with their money.
Yeah. So with even in because the market is changing so much, and how do you navigate like the end results for your fix and flip? And for example, let's say your lender asks you, all right, this project is going to be 9 months. And if they're like, what if this project goes over to be 12 months? How do you mitigate those risks? Do you change your exit? What do you do to ensure that that lender still gets paid on time? How is that conversation like?
So we built a calculator for our deals. And in our calculator that goes into our property analysis packet, we share them, our projections for the project. And in the projection comes with 3 scenarios. It gives them worst case scenario, target case scenario, and best case scenario. And we show them, we're pretty transparent with our PMLs, which is probably why we're, it's giving us, the confidence in them to want to work with us, it's because we're showing them, hey, if the market turns and it sells 50K less, you can see with our numbers, we still are walking away with some profits. Now, if the market turns in a good direction and we make more than what we thought, then we're making this in profits. We're pretty transparent people, and we literally show our numbers. I don't know if a lot of people do, but we do it. And they will see like, okay, even if the market does turn, I'm still going to get my money back.
Yeah. And can we get that calculator?
Stay conservative, folks.
That's key, because I've never heard that. I mean, you always hear persons talk about this and that, but you guys present 3 different scenarios with the numbers. So I think that should give lenders like so much more confidence and peace of mind that, okay, these guys are preparing for the worst and they're not selling me the best case scenario. Let's go back a little bit, because I love to talk about the challenges. You talk about that one deal that the lender backed out. Was there any other scenario with a private money lender where you guys were cutting it close to maybe repaying them the principal? Or what was, if that was the case, what did you do to like manage that relationship with that lender? Have you guys ever defaulted? Like, I would love if that has ever happened. But any form of challenges have you guys encountered with private money lenders, and how did you overcome it?
Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, after the first one, obviously we wanted to build, raising capital early on, before deals were coming. So lining up people before we had gotten a deal, talking to people, really educating them throughout the process so that we wouldn't have to go through scrambling for money. I don't know if we personally been through a super hectic situation on that end, just because we were prepping ourselves early on. So we haven't had any defaults or anything like that. And realizing, how much does this person have? How much does this person have? Where we can plug them into what property we need, right? Hey, so-and-so has 100, so-and-so has 50. Let's organize it this way. Let's do it this way. So that we have, our puzzle pieces in place. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't want to say we've gone through the worst yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we never defaulted. We paid all of our PMOs, what we say we're going to pay them. I think the only obstacle we kind of did have was with Torrance is we did ask for an extension because we didn't know the project was going to take longer than it would. Who knew that Torrance was going to take the longest in permits, and Torrance is one of the cities in Los Angeles County that takes a very long time to get permits. We didn't know that. We didn't know that before we bought the property, and we found out as we were rebuilding, right? But the good news is, because Jasmine was always communicating of the progress with our PMLs, it's kind of like he probably already knew that was going to end up happening, right? But I think because we were always transparent, we were always open into communication, Jasmine, talked to our PML, negotiated, and, long story short, they got more money than what we originally had agreed with. So the PML walked away, with more money, and at the end of the day, we successfully closed the deal.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Go ahead, Betzy.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back. I mean, it really sounds like you guys set yourselves up for success from the beginning, and I think it's really, really amazing, and not a lot of people do that in their business. What's an advice that you guys could give for an entrepreneur who is starting and wants to create these partnerships? What would you tell them to do?
I mean, I kind of piggybacking off what Jose said, like realizing that you're not always going to be the best at everything. When we first started, I was like, I'm nothing like Jose. I have no clue what I'm doing. He's really back end system building. I'm very talky. out there, conversing and realizing when you do choose a partner to yes, have same values, same mindset, but you don't have to be the same person. And realizing, I want to leverage some of my weaknesses with my partner while he leverages some of my strengths and vice versa, right? I think finding someone who values the same things as you do is always important when choosing a partner. But realizing, at the end of the day, we're here to work together. And like I said, leverage each other. So realizing we don't always have to be the best at everything, but knowing, hey, like you got me here, I got you here. And that's, how we scale our business and how we go farther.
Yeah. Jose, what you got?
I would say do your best to either be in a mentorship right away or at least put yourself in the rooms with the right people. Because before Jasmine and I rekindled our relationship and I was trying to figure out my real estate career, plus we had the whole pandemic and not everything was open, I quickly realized, holy, like crap, like in this industry, you have to network. And networking not in person was really hard. I was trying to figure stuff out. But I want to say the moment I was getting into communities where I realized I was starting to pick up faster. And then last year when I joined, the community that we're all in, that's where things kept going up and up and up because you're putting yourself, in a room where people are either at the level you're going towards or at a higher level. So you have access to picking their brain, right? But then you have access to these people who already built the systems. Instead of me Googling and trying to figure stuff out, I was just basically asking the questions to the people who already have the systems. And then me going back to Jasmine and say, hey, we're going to do this, because, look at this person, So, but we wouldn't have done that if we weren't in the community. Yeah. So I think that's very important. Like whatever you do, like join a community like immediately.
Cut the learning curve.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Do not reinvent it. Promise you, don't do it.
It's too much. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much because I love the fact that we mainly just focus on the exit strategy, fix and flip, and how you guys are structuring things. And I think one of the main things that my biggest takeaway from this episode was that you guys put in the groundwork, as Betzy said. The groundwork was there, and it's the toughest part because it's that phase of the journey where you want to give up and you get FOMO and you see this person doing this and you're like, am I doing the right thing? Should I stop focusing on building the system and go jump on this? But you guys stayed laser focused and the vision was clear and you guys know where you are going and now you're benefiting from the fruits of your labor. So that was my biggest takeaway. So I'm so grateful that you guys shared that as well. Right before we wrap up, what do you guys need help with in your business? For viewers and listeners, what is it that, we all need deals. So what is it that you guys need help
with? Bring in more money.
I know, I was going to say, I was like, we need more money.
Kalisha, where's the money?
We know you got the money, Kalisha.
Listen, we don't need the money and the deals. But guys, if you're listening and watching, Jose and Jasmine, they need money. We all need money. They also need deals if you guys have it. Their brand cash, their brand creative. It's all over California. You guys are focused on fix and flips?
Yep, as of right now, yep.
Okay. And then their handles are on the screen. But if you are listening, it's Jose, JOSE, TURINCIO. And for Jasmine, it's at JASMINERUIDERA. And you guys know us, Kels and Betzy. You guys know our handles. If you are not following us by now, you should. Thank you guys for listening. Betzy, you want to take us out?
Yes, I wanted to say also, it's always in the description, you guys, so you can always check us out there. Just in case, you can't type and listen at the same time, like me. I always need to go back and read. So whether you're looking to raise capital for a real estate project or looking to start or expand a new business, we hope that this episode gives you some insight, tips, and strategies so that you too can raise capital and invest with purpose.